Okay, I promised you a segment on textiles, and I forgot to put it at the end of the text video. So I'm just going to put it here, which I guess this probably works out better to have like a video dedicated to just the textile. So ST is how you get to your textile from the ribbon. Annotate text. No, there it is. The little arrow, tiny little arrow. I just ST for me, man, is style. Okay, brings up your style editor. Let's say we want to make a new textile with the very popular Roman S. We're going to title this Roman S, just Roman S, however you want to say it. I'm pretty sure it's Roman S, not Romans, because there's a Roman D also, and you're not going to say Roman. So the font here, I'm going to call Roman S. Here, Roman S. I'm just naming it after the text style, but you may want to call this main text. And maybe you want to have another one called title text. Right? In your title text, you may want to use Roman D because it's got a more stylistic look to it. You can have a big font as well if it's got that. Let's see. So annotative. If you can make annotative objects, you can set it to be annotative. The reason you hear me talk about annotative a lot but never going into it is because honestly I don't have a lot of experience with it. I got some limited experience because most of the stuff that I've done, all the companies I've worked at, do not use annotative. I've had no reason to get into that, so I don't bother with it. All right, height. If your text height is set to a default of 0, what that means is that when you put your text in, it's going to ask you for a height for single line text. For multi-line text, it's either going to put your last used text height, or you might have a list of text heights you've previously used. If you set a default height of whatever, I'll put a default height of 6 inches, it will always put that as your text height unless you choose to change it. On single line text, it won't even give you the option to change it. So, and you'll see that in a second here. You got your upside down, your backwards, vertical text, your default width factor. A lot of the companies I've seen use a 0.85 width factor. Your obliquing angle, these are all defaults. We're going to apply, actually I'm going to change my Roman S to also be 0.85 with no default height. Okay, so you can see the difference in these. Now I'm going to do my single line text, my DT. It's asking me for a rotation angle. Right now, my current style is title. Remember that I have a default text height of 6. You can see it down here, text height 6. I do not get the option. Oh, I forgot that I'm in paper space for this thing. I'll put this over here. I'll do this again. So DT. I do not get the option to enter the text height because I've already preset the text height in my style. So title. And there's my Roman D. You can see that here I've got the style set to title, the contents say title, they can say whatever, and then it'll change that. So, but I'll leave this at title. Left justify. I can change the height after the fact, but when I'm inserting it, the default height is 6 inches, so I don't get that option to put that in there. And width factor is default of 80.85. All right. When I do my single line text again, I can choose a style. I'm at title. I have to type in my new style name. If I don't feel like typing in that new style name, I can just go to style and double click the one I want to use as my main. I do believe you can also, if you have the ribbon open, you can just change it from here. Probably even easier. So you have main, standard, and title. So I'm on main. I can go back and forth between these. So I'm going to do a single line text on main now. Now I get the option to specify my height because my default text height was set to 0. And I'll set that at 4, and this is main text. And these are my two different text styles. And this is nice because you can swap back and forth between these two, saving your title text for borders and other fancy things, and maybe like titles for sections and plans and all that, and using the main text here for all of your general annotation. And maybe you can have another one, your standard text, and you can do, again, standard, and it's got a width factor of 1 and Arial type font. So That's how you create your styles. That's how you create styles from the get-go. And these styles can be used across a ton of things. You're going to see these pop up in your dimension style manager. When you go look at your text tab, you're going to see your different styles. You're going to see these in your M-leader style. M-leader style. You go modify. You're going to see this in your content under styles. When you're setting up tables, which I have not gotten into, but if you do a table style, and you do a modify, you're going to see under your text, there's your styles when you for this, the text for your tables. Once you set your text styles, those text styles will show up in a number of areas throughout your drawing. Anything that uses text. I think even when you're doing attribute definitions, which I go over in my dynamic block series, you'll see that here. Text style. So it pops up in a lot of different areas, and that's, you know, if you have different types of text and fonts you want to use, you're going to want to set up those styles to give you options to quickly switch between those types. So there you go. That's how to create styles.